Righto, slowly getting there. Just going to talk about the fuel system. In this one, this is for YouTube, so I'll just talk about only the fuel system, and I'll separate wiring and other stuff in other videos. You can go and check them out. So I'll just flip this camera around and we'll just start doing a walk around of what I've actually changed on this car and what I've finished and the future mods that come with it. So I've removed the original fuel lines from under the car, the hard lines. They're just 5/16 hard lines. He's rent some bigger hard lines, some 5/8 and 1/2 inch lines that come underneath. I'll start at the front here, but basically the hard lines come up inside the guard there and run down underneath the car on the outside of the chassis rail. You go for a bulkhead there, which is down here just above the chassis rail, down in there. You can't really see it. Let's grab my other phone for the little light. Oh, there they are there. They just come through the side there. Because the fuel lines are black, you can't see them, so they just run up, 90 degree, run up. And they feed into the Holley Sniper, both like that. So across the firewall and feed into the Holley Sniper. So -10 for intake, for ingoing, -8 for return. So it's more than enough flow. There's only 4 injectors in this setup. Even if there was 8 injectors, which I'm actually going to change these injectors to twice the size. These are 100-pound injectors. I'm going to change them to 200-pound injectors so I can start running methanol. But I've just done this so I can start running E85 at the moment to see if we can get the temperatures down. So yeah, so the hard lines run through in the bottom there, and then they come through at the back here through the boot bulkhead. So the return line comes up into the fuel cell, and that's the feed line. So inline filters into 2 external pumps and just U-bolts. So there comes out, there's -10 size there, goes into -8, heading back out of the pump and back to -10 together. And out the front there, just a 40 litre tank at the moment. I go on 40 litre tank because I want to actually run 2 fuel tanks. I want to run just normal petrol in one and have another tank for methanol, because I like to do multiple things with this thing. I have built it to do burnouts, but I do actually like to use it a bit more on a track for other things, drifting and stuff like that, and I just don't want to use methanol all the time. So I'm just going to run E85 at the moment and see how I like that, see if I need to move up to methanol for the burnouts. Yeah, so that's the change of the fuel setup. So obviously this is the reason why. So that's the reason why I've changed the fuel system, because of the fire on the original fuel tank. She boiled over, the fuel lines ran up on the inside of the chassis, and yeah, so I suppose we can go inside. I'll show you the tune that I've done. So at the last event, the Tropical Meltdown event, it's a bit dark in here, might turn a light on. At the Tropical Meltdown event, here we go, got a bit of light. Turn the car down. I don't want to hear those bloody things. Yeah, so Tropical Meltdown, it got a bit hot with the fuel lines running up the inside of the fuel, inside of the chassis rails, and just boiled my fuel out the fuel tank. Just horrible. So that one, I run 98 on my car, but now I'm changing over to E85, so I had to build a fuel map to suit that. So this is just a simple setup that I first did with the Holley Sniper when I first set it up. And you know what, I've had the same setup for the last 6 months, and it's been okay. But basically, I just, you know, 12.5 all the way across the top there, like as a simple version. I just typed in wide open throttle, 12.5, 14 at cruise, 13.5 at idle, and pretty much Holley Sniper just does its own thing. Fuel graph, but look at the learn table, like it's all over the place. Like the engine, you know, obviously doesn't like certain parts of it. I don't quite 100% understand a lot of it, but anyway, fucking that's what it looks like. And then I had a bit of a play around with it at the last event, Tropical Meltdown, and changed it around and made the, you know, fuel graph, made it a little bit better looking. The learn table, I transferred all the learn tables, so it basically started to shift me ratios around. Made a bit, yeah, just made it a little bit more workable, and it seemed to be all right. And then this is how it went after that event. Learn table, see, not so all over the place. It's actually, you know, starting to dial in a little bit better. I am getting up there in the revs up there. I turned me RPM right up to 7.5. Good thing about this is it lets me know how I went, like I can data log. So I think I did, not sure when this data log was, but obviously not the one where I went up top 7,000, but yeah, it's not too bad. So anyway, I've just built a E85 tune to go along with this, since I'm changing all the fuel and stuff. Good thing about it, it tells me that I run out of injectors with E85 right there at the top there. So I'll just bring me RPMs back to 6.5, and that'll fix that. That'll make sure I don't hit that. Fuel graph, and I've changed all my ratios around. So I've just created that. It probably needs a bit more tweaking, but that's just to get myself started. See how I go with it. I'm not a tuner like at all. I don't really know what I'm doing, but it's just what I'm doing. Just what I'm doing. Get that car going. So yeah, that's the fuel system, fuel setup. Yeah, stay tuned for whatever else I've done.